This one hits different. Why? Because Shedeur Sanders, the kid everyone's been hyping, the guy with the charisma, the swagger, and yes, the endorsements, finally spoke up. And let me tell you, he didn't come to toss out some polite, rehearsed media answer. No. This was a truth bomb detonated right in the middle of the Browns facility. If you want the real story, the messy, behind-the-scenes drama they never show on highlight reels, stick around. Seriously, hit that subscribe button because this quarterback saga is far from over. Picture this. Media day. Cameras flashing, reporters elbowing each other for the best angles, asking the same tired questions you've seen 1,000 times. Usually, these pressers are like watching paint dry. Players reciting cliches. I just want to help the team win. Or I'll do whatever the coach asks. But Shedeur, he didn't come to play along. He walked in composed, sharp, almost like he knew this was his moment to rewrite the entire narrative. And then the bait was thrown. The Browns' assistant GM had just praised Dillon Gabriel, officially calling him QB2, and suggested that Shedeur might have to wait his turn. For most rookies, that's background noise. For Sanders, that was gasoline on a fire. The reporter asked him for a reaction, and instead of a shrug or a smile, Shedeur locked eyes with the camera and delivered it straight. I don't know what they're seeing. I don't know what game they're watching. Because I've put in the work. I've shown what I can do, and I'm not here to sit behind guys who don't have my talent. This feels like they're trying to set me up to fail, and I'm not going to let that happen. Boom. Silence. You could practically hear the PR department losing their minds. Phones ringing, heads spinning. And honestly, that's just the beginning. Here's why this matters. This wasn't a venting session. This was strategy. Sanders used his platform to send a crystal-clear message. 1, he believes he's the best option on that roster. 2, he knows the Browns are mishandling him. And 3, he refuses to play the humble rookie game that the NFL forces on. Young quarterbacks. He took control of the story before anyone else could. Now, let's get real. The NFL has a long-standing double standard. Be quiet, soft-spoken, and humble. You're professional. Be confident, outspoken, unapologetic, arrogant, a distraction, troublemaker. For decades, especially young black quarterbacks, it's been a tightrope. Don't upset the coaching staff, don't step on toes, stay in line. But Shedeur, he's bulldozing that line. He's saying, if my talent, stats, and resume speak for themselves, why am I wasting energy on politics instead of football? Look at his college career. Numbers off the charts, poise under pressure, leadership that could carry a locker room, and charisma that makes fans buy in after one press conference. He's not just a player. He's a brand, a product, a force. And the Browns, of all teams, are acting like they can afford to play games with him. The irony is brutal. This is a franchise built on quarterback mismanagement. Their brand, if anything, is turning quarterbacks into cautionary tales. And now, Shedeur is calling them out in real time. Think about the guts it takes to do this. Most rookies would choke. They'd keep their heads down, afraid to lose reps or endorsements. Not Shedeur. Why? Because his platform is bigger than Cleveland. He's already validated. Nike, endorsements, media buzz, the lineage as Deion Sanders' son. The Browns need him, not the other way around. Of course, the backlash was instant. Old-school analysts wagging fingers. He needs to learn humility. Scouts whispering about character concerns. But the fans, they loved it. People are tired of robotic quarterbacks reciting lines. They want authenticity. They want players who speak their truth, who aren't afraid to disrupt the narrative. And Shedeur delivered. And now we have to talk about Deshaun Watson, the elephant in the room. Sanders was essentially calling out the team for propping up Watson, hiding behind his massive contract. If that's true, every word Shedeur said was justified. Watson hasn't delivered the wins, yet the franchise clings to him, and the young talent waiting in the wings, well, that's where frustration comes from. Sanders isn't whining. He's exposing the entire system. And what about Kevin Stefanski? Reports say he was livid, red-faced, veins popping, furious that a rookie dared challenge the system. But here's the kicker. The narrative isn't his anymore. Once Sanders spoke, the optics changed. Every time Watson or Gabriel struggles, fans will be thinking, why isn't Shedeur playing? Every blown lead, every misstep, it now circles back to him sitting on the bench. Stefanski can't control that. This is the Browns' history coming back to bite them. Remember Johnny Manziel, Brady Quinn, Brandon Weeden, Baker Mayfield, flashy QBs, all mishandled, all failures, all cautionary tales. Now a real star lands in their lap, and what do? Bury him. Sanders didn't just call it out, he exposed the pattern. And yet through all this, Sanders doesn't come off bitter. He comes off savvy. His honesty wasn't petty, it was confident. He wasn't whining, he was asserting his value. That's leadership, and it's in his blood. Growing up under Deion Sanders, he learned the media game. Turn controversy into, fuel. Make headlines work for you. Criticism doesn't break him. It propels him. The aftermath? Chaos. Cleveland's locker room instantly turned into a soap opera. Dillon Gabriel, the supposed QB2, now has to navigate awkward waters. Deshaun. Watson? Everyone hears the subtext. Sanders called out the organization without even mentioning names. And the fallout spreads faster than any coach can control. So what's the takeaway? Authenticity sells. Confidence sells. And in a league desperate for stars, Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's a movement, a new archetype, outspoken, unapologetic, brand savvy. Fans want it, sponsors want it, and eventually, the NFL will have to adjust. And the fans? Oh, they've picked sides, and it's messy. Social media has exploded into a battlefield of memes, hashtags, and endless debates. Half the fan base is cheering, finally, someone called out the circus for what it is. The other half clutch their pearls, muttering, he hasn't earned the right to talk like that yet. But here's the kicker. It's not Watson, it's not Gabriel, it's not Stefanski who owns this conversation right now. It's Sanders. Shedeur Sanders owns the narrative, and he's playing chess while everyone else is stuck in checkers. And make no mistake, this wasn't whining. This was calculated. This was Sanders seizing control of his story. Because the NFL loves to package quarterbacks into neat little archetypes. Humble underdog, silent worker, team-first leader. But Sanders? He's writing a new playbook. The outspoken truth teller, the guy unafraid to voice what everyone else is thinking, and in today's media landscape, that's pure gold. Let's get real for a second and talk about the cultural undertones, because they're impossible to ignore. Sanders' honesty isn't just seen as confidence, it's audacity. And what does that mean? A black quarterback speaking up, refusing to wait his turn, refusing to play by the polite, quiet rules, that rattles the old guard. Picture this. If someone like Arch Manning said the same things, the headline would probably read, "Look at the leadership. Look at the fire." But Sanders, he's arrogant and a distraction. The double standard is glaring, and Sanders knows it. Maybe part of why he spoke out was to shine a light on that very hypocrisy. Because this isn't just about football, it's about agency, control, and refusing to let an organization script. His narrative. And that's why fans, especially younger ones, are eating this up. They're sick of cookie-cutter answers, tired of quarterbacks packaged like corporate robots. Sanders gives them realness, authenticity, confidence, and that resonates. Meanwhile, the league office is sweating bullets, not because players criticize teams. That happens all the time. No, they're nervous because this represents a potential cultural shift. If young stars see Sanders speaking freely and refusing to be silenced, it threatens the old hierarchy. Coaches above players, owners above all, disrupt that, and suddenly the league doesn't control the story anymore. Of course, sponsors are loving it. Every time Sanders trends, every viral quote, his market value soars. Controversy equals clicks. Clicks equals sales. Love him or hate him, you're talking about him. That's exactly what brands want. Now let's hand out some awards, because this saga deserves them. First, the Torchlighter Award goes to Sanders for igniting a media firestorm with just a few sentences. Second, the PR Dumpster Fire Award goes to the Browns' assistant GM, whose innocent praise of Dillon Gabriel accidentally set this whole thing off. And finally, the Most Predictable Meltdown Award goes to Kevin Stefanski, reportedly losing it behind closed doors instead of keeping his composure. So, what happens next? Option 1. The Browns try to silence Sanders. Bench him, leak stories, paint him as immature. All that does is cement him as the truth teller standing up against a broken system. Option 2. They cave. They give him the shot he's demanding. And if he performs, the narrative flips. He's the prodigy who forced his way into greatness. Option 3. Sanders forces his way out. Trade demand, new franchise, chaos across the league as teams scramble to acquire him. Whatever path unfolds, one thing's clear. Sanders isn't going back into silence. That press conference? Not a slip-up, a warning shot. And the Browns better believe he has more where that came from. Now, let's talk about the next chapter, the fallout. Cleveland isn't a place where drama just stays behind closed doors, it grows. Picture this. The days following Sanders' comments, a pressure cooker of tension. Hallways buzzing with whispers, veterans side-eyeing, media vans camped outside, like predators. And in the middle, two men circling each other like boxers, Stefanski and Sanders. Stefanski has the headset and the title, but Sanders, he has the headlines, the fan support, and the energy of a franchise-defining talent. In today's NFL, guess who usually wins? Behind closed doors, Stefanski reportedly went off, pacing meetings, slamming markers, the kind of fury that comes from feeling humiliated in your own house. He spent years trying to maintain control, to be the guy who keeps order. And now a 21-year-old rookie is calling him out on the dysfunction, on the wasted talent, on protecting Watson at the cost of the team. That's not insubordination. It's a punch to the ego. But here's the wild part. Sanders doesn't flinch. He walks into practice calm, focused, cracking jokes, dapping teammates. He's daring Stefanski to paint him as the villain, and teammates notice. They see the tension in Stefanski, the composure in Sanders. Guess who they gravitate toward? And let's not forget the assistant GM who sparked this whole thing with a simple quote, probably hiding in his office, watching his innocent comment explode into chaos. Welcome to Cleveland, where the kindling is always dry. And the locker room? Absolute chaos, but the juicy kind. NFL hierarchies are shaken. Some veterans are fuming. Who does he think he is? Others are quietly thrilled. Finally, someone said out loud what they've been thinking for months. The Browns. Leadership is lost, talent wasted, Watson overprotected. The rookies? Sanders is a hero, a symbol. Speak up, take control, demand respect. That scares Stefanski more than anything. Media vultures are circling too. Every show, every segment, every headline is Sanders versus Stefanski. National writers. Dust off Cleveland's history of quarterback drama, stacking Sanders into the long line of chaos. Even betting markets shift, not because of play on the field, but perception of dysfunction. That's the power of narrative. And Sanders, he owns it. Word is, Stefanski called Sanders into a private meeting, just the two of them. What happened? In that room? Nobody knows for sure. Did Stefanski demand an apology? Did Sanders push back, reminding him the offense's future rides on him? Whatever happened, they walked out colder than they came in. The next day, practice told the story. Stefanski tense, arms crossed, lips tight. Sanders loose, hitting throws, joking with teammates. The optics? Brutal. Rookie looks like the leader. Coach looks like he's losing control. And Watson, the ghost in this drama. Sanders basically implied the team is protecting him, and Watson feels it. Meetings are quieter, withdrawn. Authority? Fragile. Fans notice. Twitter is ablaze with "Let Sanders cook." They've had enough of mediocrity. They want the future now. This isn't just a quarterback battle. It's a battle for the soul of the franchise. Stefanski represents the old guard, hierarchy, patience process. Sanders represents talent, confidence, authenticity, a new wave. Depth chart politics? Minor. Cultural, philosophical, and narrative control? Huge. And honestly, Sanders might already be winning. Every headline, debate, and fan argument revolves around him. Stefanski can scream, threaten, pace, but the world isn't talking about him. They're talking about Shedeur Sanders. So, what's next? 3 roads. 1. Stefanski digs in, benches Sanders, tries to assert control, but risks alienating the locker room, fan base, and the very player who could save his job. 2. The Browns cave. Give Sanders a shot. And if he succeeds, he's a prodigy who forced his way into greatness, and Stefanski's legacy is tied to that success. 3. Sanders forces a trade, rumors explode, teams scramble, and once again, Cleveland loses its star before he can even shine. Lose-lose. And it all started because they underestimated Sanders. Fake awards? Absolutely. Checkmate Rookie Award goes to Sanders for flipping the script before playing a snap. Paper Tiger Leadership Award to Stefanski for looking in charge while clearly losing the locker room war. And the "Here We Go Again" trophy goes to the Cleveland Browns, a franchise that once again turns hope into chaos.